42, Texas Johnny has a good point. Race is now fluid, like sexuality. It depends on the company or special group you need to pander to. Right. That's why I thought it was a good poll question, because, there is no right answer, because ultimately there really aren't any races. Everybody's a mix. So this guy, he can be whatever anyone wants him to be or needs him to be, just like anybody can be. Grace has got East Asian blood, according to the DNA tests, right?
I do. That is true.
Yeah. And I consider myself, I'm 53% Irish, 47% English. So I consider myself half white and half Irish, because Irish people didn't used to be white in the United States. They were, when you had dirty stuff to do in places like New Orleans, you used Irish people because you didn't want to use slaves, because slaves were property. If one of them got killed, digging a ditch and the dirt fell in and suffocated him, you were out money. If it happened to an Irish person, it was okay. So, again, you could play this game forever. And that's why, it's, I think, a good question. And you're seeing it being played out now. Again, 2 days ago, this was a white supremacist, deplorable killing, right? Today, it's just a gun control issue. It's totally changed because of the left. The left controls the narrative.
I actually saw some tweets, Howie, saying that you don't have to actually be white to have white supremacy.
Right. Clarence Thomas is a white man, right?
Right.
As far as they're concerned, he is. Walter Williams, Tim Scott. They're Shelby Steele. He's a white guy.
And you know what else it is, Howie? It's. I was thinking about this last
Burgess
week.
Owens, another white guy. Come to think of it, Herschel Walker. They're black football players. Burgess Owens now in Congress. Trump wants Herschel Walker, the great All-American and NFL pro, to run for Senate. But they're white guys because they're Trump guys, right? Burgess Owens. Yeah, that's what I meant. Burgess Owens.
Candace Owens.
Candace and Bert. Any black person named Owens is white, apparently, according to the left's rules.
I was talking to someone last week, and they asked me about this new Marvel character. They're making him into a LGBTQ plus character, and I was trying to think of what I was going to say. I was doing a hit, and I was like, I don't want to say anything because I was in theater. I have a lot of gay friends. I have no issue with inclusivity or whatever. But then I really started to think about it, and I thought it would really be more bold of a studio to make this superhero into a conservative.
Right.
Like whether the person's black, white, queer, that really, you're going to be accepted in America. The only time you're really going to be ostracized is if, like you said, Howie, if you're a black person who supports Donald Trump, or if you're, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot harder to be conservative.
The New York Post had an amazing picture today. I tweeted it out. It was a story about this crazy black guy, I think in Queens, was just screaming at an Asian, just one horrible thing after another. I think it may have been an Asian cop, and somebody on Free Republic reposted the picture of this black guy and said, I don't understand this. How does this work into the left's anti-Asian white supremacy, anti-Donald Trump narrative? And somebody took the picture, Grace.
Yeah.
And they photoshopped a red MAGA hat onto the black guy and said, there, I fixed it.
Well, and I also want to say, Howie, that I had a few people calling up today about gun control. And, there's a lot of black people who are very pro Second Amendment and want to carry
Grassley
firearms.
was talking about it today, Senator Grassley, at his hearing. Yeah.
And there was a great piece. I read a little bit of this earlier, Howie, but I really think you'd like it. It's by Kira Davis in Red State. And she said, if you're terrified of white people with guns, then you should probably buy a gun. And I want to read you this quote because I thought this really nails it. She said, either they are telling me that as a black American, I simply have to accept the fact that I will be shot by a white supremacist one day and no one will be able to protect me, or they are saying that the only way to protect myself is to help them ban all guns. And then she goes on to say, I'm under constant threat from white supremacists, but progressives keep trying to make defending myself against such an attack illegal. It makes no sense.
Guess which party took guns away from the freedmen, the freed slaves, after Reconstruction ended in the South?
Is it the same party that had most of the KKK?
Yes, the same party that came up with the Jim Crow legislation, the same party that later on came up with massive resistance.
Is it the same party that came up with the crime bill that put a lot of
the super predators, as Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton called them?
Yes.
Yes, the same party that had as the Senate majority, the number 2 guy in the Senate for their party, a former exalted cyclops of the Ku Klux Klan.
And Howie,
whose party had a president who interned over 100,000 Japanese in internment camps in World War II, and who appointed a lifetime member of the Ku Klux Klan, Hugo Black, to the Supreme Court. Yes, that same party.
And as of yesterday, the same party that had members that were threatening not to confirm people based off their race. That was Senator Tammy Duckworth and Mazie Hirono. They were, when you can break it down all you want and try to get intellectual and say they want more representation for Asian Americans or Pacific Islanders, but really what they were saying is if we don't appoint people that is a race that we want, we will not vote for them. That sounds racist to me.
And again, we'll be the ones who we've decided that Issa was a white man when we thought he was a Trump guy, but now we know he's a Biden guy, so he's not a white guy anymore. If Ted Cruz were a Democrat, he would be a card-carrying Hispanic, but now MSNBC is about to drum him out of the Hispanic race, which, by the way, doesn't exist, I repeat. By the way, one last thing, Grace, I just want to read you the double mutant story. Can we have some ominous music?
Like
Taylor?
The Blob?
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. A new double mutant variant of the virus that causes COVID-19 has been discovered in Indiana Wednesday. Dr. Fauci's going to call for 3 masks. 3 masks.
I'm so sick.
The variant has 2 mutations. This is in India, to the spike protein. The spike protein that the virus uses to penetrate humans. 214 says, I'm an MD. Every year when we get a flu shot, it's a mutant of the flu virus from the years before. So COVID mutants should be of no surprise or reason to panic.
Right.
Now, in a medical sense, you're right, MD. But this is not about panicking in a medical sense. This is about panicking in a political sense. We have to keep the masks on. It's good business for the deep state. More mail-in ballots. We're going to have how many days until we have a triple mutant variant?
That's a good question.
A week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks tops.
And they think that people read this and don't see through it. I have maybe too much, but I have a lot of faith in the American people. And I think people are reading this stuff and going, get the bleep out of here.
Right.
You've kept us locked up for a full year, and now you're telling us that there's strains and variants and spikes. And meanwhile, I don't know, Howie, if McKay showed you the meme I sent you yesterday. It said, when the states are still closed and the borders are open, at what point do you realize you've been played? Like, at what point do people go, oh, I see what's happening here. This is not really fair. Howie, just really quick, though. Remember how Biden was going to be the president who ushered in unity and decency?
And a return to normalcy, to quote Warren G. Harding 100 years ago.
Well, turns out Mitch McConnell says Biden hasn't spoken to him despite Unity Pledge since he's been sworn in.
Well, it really is a return to normalcy. If the Obama administration was normalcy, because Obama didn't work with Republicans. Look how they passed Obamacare, the Unaffordable Health Care Act.
You know what part of the Obama administration is really back in full swing?
What's that?
The let me be clears. Let me be clear. Everyone in the Biden administration says that. Blinken, Mayorkas, they all say, let me be clear. And it's always when they're being vague and they're lying to you. And Joe Biden, when he was, I don't know if you guys have played it yet, Howie, the dog cut about sniffing.
Yeah, we'll play it right now. Cut 1.
Listen to when he says, I'm not kidding. No joke. No joke.
And by the way, Dogs may help cure cancer. Not a joke. Dogs are able to, they're using dogs now because their olfactory glands are 400 times what a human is, to smell cancer.
There's a difference between being able to smell something and being able to cure the problem that caused the smell, Joe. You may not be aware of that at this late stage of your life, but
can't you just picture, Howie, like the next time you're watching CNN, they go, all right, so thank you, Dr. Fauci. Now we're going to Ruffles. Ruffles, what do you think about the latest? So it's so insane. In other news, though,
can you imagine if Donald Trump had said that? Just think about it. I tweeted out today, Howie, that I cannot say anything about Joe Biden. Like, I was going to tweet out this story about him with the dogs and cancer, and I just know what they're going to respond back. At least he didn't say that people should inject bleach into their lungs. That's like their only thing. They're one-horse ponies. No, they have a few of them though. Here's another one. What do you mean it's a Russian collusion hoax? He asked the Russians to release the Hillary Clinton emails. Remember that? How many times have you heard that? They say you still hear that occasionally from some freak.
I get the same people every time, and I'm like, wait, isn't this whataboutism? I thought we weren't allowed to do that. Howie, this is a little bit of good news before I leave you here. MSNBC ratings suffer without Trump to vilify. Joy Reid's show has worst weekly viewership ever. By the way, I just want to say, yesterday we started going over Hack Madness, and people really enjoyed that, Howie. I think we have to start incorporating that into the Daily Show. People enjoyed getting your take.
When is the next round?
I don't know, but Rachel Maddow got busted out. She's not in the next round.
Who beat her?
I think she got beat by, I don't know. I got to find the actual thing, but she didn't make it.
Well, I would think that again, the more I would say anchors have more, they got to be higher ranked going into the tournament than people who just have columns or blogs. And she's one of the highest ranked of the Moonbats, right? After all, she said Russia is controlling our government. That was one of her most famous statements. I mean, just that statement alone, even though it's 4 years old, should be enough to carry her into the Sweet 16.
Remember, she got
the Elite Eight.
Remember, she got Trump's tax returns, and it was like Geraldo. It was like 4 hours of her going, "Oh, this is a big story,"
right?
And then it ended up being a nothing burger.
Right, and then she said he took a $20 million write-off. And then it turned out that he had written that in the intro to a book that he wrote in, I think, 1996.
He also put it in the intro of Apprentice. It was part of the theme song. He's like, I took a $20 million write-off. And Rachel Maddow thought she broke the scoop. So Rachel Maddow lost to Brian Stelter. I don't think they should be putting Rachel Maddow versus Brian Stelter in the beginning rounds, though. You know what I mean? It's putting two really strong opponents up against each other too soon.
Yeah.
By the way, Howie, can I read you one thing? I had Andy Ngo on the show today.
Yeah. And
he has a great tweet I think you would like. He has all the photos of all of the victims of this shooting.
Yeah.
And he says, photographs of the 10 people killed by suspect Ahmad al-Issa in Boulder, Colorado. I was told a few days ago that the race of victims in shootings matters, even if there's no evidence of race playing a role in the attack.
There's so many angles to this story showing leftist hypocrisy. You know?
I know, and they don't even take a minute. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're supposed to follow their fake news about the white shooter when they don't know if the shooter is white, and then immediately after, without saying any sort of mea culpa or self-reflection, they go right into, oh, now you can trust us about gun control. Get out of here.
Yeah. I know. I wonder how Issa feels about being in the white race 1 minute and then the next minute he's thrown out of the white race. At least George Zimmerman got to be a white Hispanic, right? I don't even think they're calling Issa a white Arab or a white Muslim. All right, Grace. Thank you.
Thanks, Howard.
Thanks. The Biden administration's policies and executive orders are already causing some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity in your real estate built up over years or decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years. It's because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission, but in an auction, the buyer pays. These are treacherous times in the real estate market. Some sectors are at all-time highs. Think high-end real estate, suburbs. Think the Cape, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. Others are losing ground. Think commercial real estate, strip malls, retail. Don't wait until Joe Biden destroys this sector of the economy too before you cash out. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you could be the next one. Call them today at 1-800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com and get your property sold. I'm Howie Carr.